Hello dear students of class 10th, welcome to geography class. I hope all of you are doing well. Students, in this video I shall start with a new chapter of geography, and the name of the chapter is agriculture. That is chapter 4th from your geography book. So students, this term agriculture, this is a very important concept for us. Now why this concept is important for us? Because we are directly or indirectly dependent on it. Yes, we are directly or indirectly dependent on agriculture. Now if I say directly, then how can we be directly dependent on agriculture? If we are doing farming or if we are growing crops in the village, then we can be directly dependent. But if I say that we are indirectly dependent on farming, then what does this mean? Indirectly dependent means, see, human beings require food to eat, and from where we will get food? If crops will not be grown, then can we get food? Can we obtain food? Can we survive? No, we cannot, right? So that is why we are indirectly dependent on agriculture, because if food crops will not be grown, we will not be able to survive. We need food for survival. So that is why we are indirectly or directly related or dependent on agriculture. Now if I talk about agriculture, then let me tell you that it is the primary activity in our country. Yes, in India, agriculture is the primary activity as it produces most of the food grains that we consume. Right? If food grains will not be grown, then how will we consume it? So it is the primary activity in India, and you know, 2/3 of the India's population is engaged in agricultural activities. Yes, 2/3 means majority of the population is still dependent, or I would say still engaged in agriculture activities. Now students, I have told you that we are dependent on it, but let me tell you that we are dependent on agriculture not only for food or not only for consumption, but our industries are also dependent on agriculture. Now you will say that how our industries are dependent on agriculture. See, industries need raw materials, right? Raw materials are needed by industries, and from where the industries get raw material? They get raw material from the primary sector, that means the agricultural sector. If I talk about chips, I think most of you like chips, potato chips. They are very tasty, right? From where the potato comes? From the farm, from the field potato comes. Then if I talk about tomato ketchup, everybody likes tomato ketchup. It is very tasty, saucy, yes, spicy. From how these tomato ketchups are manufactured, from where the tomato comes? The tomato comes from the field. So that is why our industries are dependent on agriculture for the raw material. Now students, I told you that we are dependent on agriculture for consumption, that means for food. Then our industries are dependent on agriculture. But let me tell you that occupation wise also we are dependent on agriculture. Do you know 55% of population, if I tell you more precisely, then 55% of the population is engaged in the primary sector, which is also called as the agriculture sector. So this sector is not only providing us food to eat, but it is offering us to do work, to earn our living, right? So that is why we are greatly dependent on agriculture. So I hope that you understood the outline, that what is agriculture and why it is important. Agriculture means growing crops, okay? The primary field, the primary sector, that is called as agriculture sector. Now students, let me tell you that what all we are going to study, or what all I am going to explain you in this chapter. So as you can see here, first of all I am going to explain you about the types of farming. Let me tell you that I am going to explain you three types of farming. The first one is primitive subsistence farming, the second one is intensive subsistence farming, and the third one is commercial farming. So these three types I am going to explain you in this topic. Then I will explain you about the cropping pattern, about the seasons, that how crops are grown in different seasons. Then about the major crops, what are the major crops that are grown in our country in different seasons and in which part of country what crops are grown. Then I am going to explain you about the technological and institutional reforms. There were several reforms in the field of agriculture which I am going to explain you in this chapter. Then I am going to explain you about food security. Yes, how we can achieve food security. And at last I will explain you about the impact of globalization on agriculture, that what role globalization has played on agriculture, the impact of it, the impact of globalization on agriculture. So I hope that the introduction of this chapter is clear to everybody. This was just the broad outline, or I would say the introduction of the chapter that I am going to start. So students, let's start with the first topic of this chapter, that is types of farming. See students, types of farming or the methods of cultivation. If I talk about the methods of cultivation, then the methods of cultivation have changed over years. That means earlier, means 20 years back, 50 years back, different method of cultivation was used, different method of farming was used, but now different methods are used depending upon, see, we have developed a lot depending upon the physical environment. The physical environment has changed, the technological know-how, now we are technically more advanced. We have, there are so many advancements in the field of agriculture, and not only in the field of agriculture, in every field. So depending upon these factors, the socio-economic practices and everything, the farming methods have changed over years. So in this topic I am going to explain you about three types of farming. The first one is primitive subsistence. The first one is primitive subsistence farming. The second one is intensive subsistence farming, and the third one is commercial farming. So let's start with the first one, that is primitive subsistence farming. See, primitive, this word primitive, from the heading only you can understand the concept, that what this is all about. See, the best way to understand any topic or to understand any term is to see that term, analyze that term properly. If you will try to analyze, if you will try to understand that term, then you can easily understand the concept. See, primitive means old, that was used earlier, that was used years back, that is called primitive. Okay, so primitive means this is the old method of farming or the old type of farming, and we will see that in primitive subsistence farming how the cultivation or farming was done. So students, this method, this primitive subsistence farming, this was done way back. Okay, like in primitive subsistence farming, the old techniques were used, everything that was, the old techniques were used. For example, if I talk about the tools, then the tools were also primitive. They were old tools like hoe, dhow and digging sticks were used. And you know, if I talk about the modern tools, then we have tractors, we have different advancements, we have machineries. But earlier in primitive subsistence farming, these tractors or machineries were not used. Instead, these primitive tools were used, and and that time tractors were not there, advanced machineries were not there, technical know-how was not there. So basically the family members or the laborers, they were used to do the farming process. And if I talk about agriculture in the primitive subsistence farming, then agriculture, that means the source of water, that was also primitive. Like, that means the people were dependent on monsoon for irrigation. That time tube wells, canals, they were not used. Primitive means everything was used in a primitive manner, like that of a primitive manner, the old manner, not the new system. The modern system was not used. All the techniques were old. So they were actually dependent on the monsoon for irrigation purpose. And if I talk about the fertility, then you know, this type of farming is dependent on natural fertility of the soil. Means extra inputs like chemicals, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, they were not sprayed on the crops. Rather, this type of farming dependent on natural fertility of the soil. Artificial techniques were not used in order to have more production. So this, and you know, this method, this type of farming, this was practiced on a small patch of land, on a small part of, or I would say a small area of land. And if I talk about nowadays, then nowadays very few people, they practice this method. And if I talk about especially the tribal people, the tribal communities, they practice this method, this old or primitive method of agriculture, because they are very close to the nature. So they usually practice this method. Now the question is, how this method, this type of farming was done, how it is conducted, or even the people who are carrying out today, how they are doing it. So they are doing by slash and burn method. Now what is this slash and burn? See, in this, a patch of land, or I would say a patch of forest is cleared. The patch of forest, I would say the trees, the plants, they are chopped there, and these plants and trees, they are set on fire. And you know, after setting on fire, after setting trees on fire, what we will get? We will get ash. So the ash were mixed with the seeds. Yes, the ash were mixed with the seeds, and then after mixing the ash with the seeds, the people waited for monsoon. And after that, during monsoon, what happens? The seeds, the cultivation process got water, it got irrigation. Okay. And you know, in this method, no artificial chemicals, fertilizers, or any artificial method was not used in this. Primitive means old. The traditional method was used. That time people did not use any artificial chemicals or fertilizers to enhance the productivity of the crops. Okay. And you know, when the crops were ready, they were harvested. Means everything was done in a very natural manner. And when the fertility of the soil decreases, or when that time the fertility of the soil decreased, then the farmers, they shifted to some other patch of land, and the same process was done. So that is why this is also called as shifting farming. Because see, if the farmers or if the people will continue to grow on the same patch of land, then after a certain point of time, the fertility will start decreasing, and a point will come that the fertility will be completely over, that land will be no more fertile. So what to do? So after that, what they do, after using a particular plot of land, a particular patch of land, the farmers or the people, the tribal people, they shift to some other patch of land, they clear that part, and then the same process is continued. So that is why it is also called as shifting farming. And let me tell you that usually the land productivity is low as modern inputs are not used. See, if chemicals, fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides, if they are not used, then the productivity will naturally be low. Means they are not using any modern techniques, they are totally completely dependent on the nature. They are not wanting to have overproduction. They are not ruining the land, right? They are using the land So they are using the land, and after that, once the fertility is reduced or once the fertility is over, they shift to some other land and the same process is continued. So I hope that you understood the slash and burn method or the primitive subsistence farming, that how primitive subsistence farming is done or was done. But But let me tell you, now a very few people they carry this method, they use this method, but earlier this method was used by the tribal communities and the local people. Now let me tell you that this primitive subsistence farming, this is known by different names in our country, and not only in our country, it is known by different names in other parts of the world. First let's come to our country. As you can see the list, in northeastern states like Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, it is called jhuming. This primitive agriculture method, or this primitive subsistence method, or what you say slash and burn, this is called as jhuming in the northeastern states. Then if I talk about Manipur, then it is known as Pamlo. It is known as Pamlo in Manipur. Then it is known as Deepa in Bastar district of Chhattisgarh and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Not islands, island. Then if I talk about Madhya Pradesh, it is called as Bewar. If I talk about Andhra Pradesh, it is called as Podu or Penda. Then in Odisha, it is called as Pama Dabi or Komar or Bringa. If I talk about Western Ghats, then it is called as Kumari. So this slash and burn or primitive subsistence farming has different names. It is known by different names in different parts of the country. And if I talk about the world, then if I talk about Mexico and Central America, then it is known as Milpa. If I talk about Venezuela, it is called as Conuco. Okay. In Brazil, it is called as Roca. In Central Africa, it is called as Masole. In Indonesia, it is called as Ladang. And in Vietnam, it is called as Raj. Okay. And it is your homework to find out that what is this called in southeastern Rajasthan and Himalayan belt and Jharkhand. This is your homework. You have to find out that in these places what this method is called. So I hope that you understood the primitive subsistence farming, and students, in the next video I will be continuing with this topic and I will be explaining you intensive subsistence farming. Till then, thank you so much. Please revise your lessons well and stay safe. I'll meet you in the next video with the same topic. Till then, thank you so much.